Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Garage Talk Sports. I'm Mills.
I'm Bobby.
And I'm Nick.
And we are back in the garage, finally getting to record in a location we're familiar with.
It's not that hot in Chicago.
It's not, the heat wave is over, at least for today.
Don't let it fool you, man. It's going to run all the way through August, all the way through
But the
September.
setup has changed because we always change the setup. We can't make up our minds. Why not, right? But we got a fun episode for you guys. A lot going on in the NFL that we're excited to talk about. Touch up on a little bit of baseball stuff. But we always, kick off our show with our hot spots. So I'm going to kind of lead off here if you guys don't mind.
Yeah, go.
Serena Williams has announced her retirement. My girl Serena is retiring from professional tennis.
Huge congrats.
Unbelievable career.
Yeah.
She has a singles record, 855 and 153, 84.3% winning percentage in professional tennis.
That's
World ranked number one golfer 5 separate times in her career. Did I say golfer? Yeah. Tennis player. That was golf on the mind, man.
That's wait. What just happened? What was that? The
FedEx Cup.
Yeah, FedEx Cup.
That's happening.
Happening.
And they just had the
anyways
lawsuit about it.
Oh, that's right.
So back to tennis.
But listen, let's not go down the golf road. All right, sorry about that. But no, unbelievable career. Got the movie about her dad as well, which I still haven't seen.
King Richard?
Yeah, I really want to see. It's on HBO Max. Right?
When I went to Florida, they had it on Southwest. You could watch it, dude. Everyone around me was watching it.
Yeah,
and
I really want to
need
see it.
This. Yeah.
I'll have to watch it one of these days. Either way, congratulations on an awesome career. Enjoy retirement, Serena.
Well, she's still playing. She's playing the U.S. Open.
Okay.
I'm just saying, she's winding down her career. She's going to retire, but it's one of those she hasn't.
Yes. Enjoy retirement. Still, congrats on a great career. Why are you taking away from my congratulations?
I was just saying, she's not done yet. You can still watch her one more time.
It's like Coach K, man. He had his final farewell year, all right?
Yes, but she announced her retirement.
Yes.
Is my point.
Yeah.
And undetermined dates in the future.
It's happening.
After
I don't think she's gonna go to the next year.
No chance. But that's pretty much it. I'm not gonna go in on the Serena Williams career.
All right, well,
much further than that.
It'll take a long time.
Well, I'll take it off here. So, anyways, Hayward has been injured. He's out for the rest of the year. But Jed Hoyer came out and said that
is this Cubs great Jason Hayward?
Dude,
Cubs legend Jason Hayward,
one of the best players on the team since 2016.
He has been a fucking shell of himself since he joined the Cubs, and I've always wanted him to put it together. I mean, clearly when he was a Cardinal, great.
He won a Gold Glove in right field.
I mean, don't get me wrong, his fielding's great, but dude, if your bat's out there, you're not worth the $184 million we've been paying.
Yeah, he didn't live up to the contract.
Yeah.
That's the reality.
And it's been terrible. I like I said, you really can't hate on the guy because everyone loves him in the clubhouse and everything. But Jed Hoyer came out and said that at the end of the season he will be done. He will not be with the team. 2023. So hopefully, I'm thinking, all right, boom, Hayward gone. Contreras is gonna stay. Hab's gonna stay. We're gonna flip around. This rebuild's not gonna be that long. All right, it's not gonna be 2027. It's gonna be 2024, 2025. All right. Cubs back to competing.
We'll see, man. We'll have to see.
I hope for your sake, Bobby. I hope so.
I really hope
that's not gonna happen. Though.
Yeah, I don't know. It depends. They have to spend the money.
True, but
in so far in recent history, the only guy they really spent the money on was Hayward,
and
that turned out so well,
and it worked out wonderfully. They got a World Series, man.
True, but
I think they also shelled out a decent amount for Lester as well.
Yeah,
I'm not familiar with all the contracts. I am familiar with the fact that Hayward signed this huge deal, and it just, outside of one good year, he was really not that great.
Yeah, and honestly, I don't even in 2016, he wasn't even really a factor.
Right, his Gold Glove year was his best year. I think it was 2017.
Yeah,
could be wrong though.
I mean,
veteran presence though.
Yeah, I get that. That does help, and like I said, everyone loves him in the clubhouse. So I don't want to trash him too hard, but yeah,
it'll be nice to have that gone.
Yeah, that contract being gone. I'm not saying Hayward's a terrible person or anything, but his contract is really absolutely
kind of. No, I'm kidding. No, it'll be nice. It'll be nice to have that off the books for you guys.
He's not getting the Jock Peterson treatment from Bobby.
Yeah,
true. Jock Peterson, I fucking hate you. All right. I hope you hear that.
Wow.
Play better in the city of Chicago. All right?
Wow.
He plays good in the city of Chicago when he's not on the Cubs.
Yeah, apparently.
He just doesn't like the Cubs, man.
Yeah,
That
it's probably
happens.
because they have a shitty stadium.
And well,
It's true.
Because it's true. You didn't even listen.
No. I'm talking about the Jock Peterson. All right. Number one,
He
Wrigley
doesn't.
Field, greatest stadium. All right.
Not the greatest. I thought it was Fenway.
No, I just.
You said you liked Fenway more than Wrigley.
I said the nostalgia factor.
No.
of being in
No.
Fenway,
You
all
said
right?
you said I'll text Ryan, and we'll get into to verify because you told him that when we were in Nashville.
It just feels older. Like
You said you liked it more. You said it was cooler than Wrigley.
It was different, man. I've been
No,
Wrigley so
you
many
can't go
times.
back
It
on
was
your word
different,
like
all right?
that. No, I'm not letting you go. I'm not letting you go back on this.
It's like,
one,
let me
Bobby.
ask you a question. All right.
I let you get away with too much. I'm not.
You
letting-
eat pizza for a week, for weeks straight. All right, and then you get a hot dog. All right, that hot dog's gonna smack a little differently than a pizza. All right.
What are you talking about? You just came out of left field with that.
Bobby,
that
I-
comparison.
See, you can't say anything, Joe, because you know
No,
what
my
I mean.
point is. So you're gonna in that one instant, that one hot dog after like weeks of pizza, you're gonna go, yeah, hot dog's my favorite food now. That's what you're gonna say. That's
I mean,
basically what you're
while
saying.
you're there and while you're like enjoying it, you're gonna be wow,
Yeah.
this is amazing. You know,
Well, you're halfway through that glizzy. You're
Yeah.
for sure thinking that's the best thing ever.
But yeah, then like a little bit later, you're gonna be like, all right, no, hot dog's not the best. It was good, but wasn't the best.
But see, I don't think I would ever go from I'm so sick of pizza that now a hot dog is my favorite food. That's not gonna happen.
I will. All right, all right.
It's the premise.
Your
Bobby.
next challenge is you have to eat pizza for a week straight. All right,
1 week straight, I can do that.
1 week straight.
And then eat
only
a hot
pizza,
dog.
Then
I'm still
eat
gonna
a
like.
hot-
I'm still gonna like the pizza.
And not-
this analogy's terrible.
and
because-
not know like ballpark Frank that you're gonna cook yourself. You got to go to like Portillo's and get yourself like.
You guys paid $9 for.
Yeah, you're gonna
ballpark
make me
range.
go break the bank for a hot dog.
I mean, you'll save it with how much.
I
pizza
get Bobby. I get the point you're trying to make.
Yeah.
But
But it
you
just didn't hit.
you said Fenway was cooler, and I'm just not gonna let you live it down.
Well, yeah.
You,
dude,
you
the
said you
Green
liked
Monster,
it. You said
like,
you liked it more than Wrigley.
Like
That's
the
all
fact
saying.
that I'm sitting there staring at the Green Monster, it was like, whoa, like
I
I've only seen this
I
on
completely
TV.
get what you're saying.
Yeah, like it
And
was,
I'm mostly busting your balls, but
Yeah.
I'm not letting you live this one down.
I'm still confused about the hot dog pizza thing.
The point of that is that
like
because he's got so much experience going to Wrigley that going to somewhere else like Fenway.
No, I
made
get
it-
that
oh,
part. I just don't understand the whole hot dog to pizza. It didn't land for me. Didn't make sense.
Well, the pizza is Wrigley and the hot dog
like
is Fenway.
yeah, it's like Fenway, like.
And my
Uh,
counter was that's not going to make me suddenly make a hot dog my favorite food.
yeah.
But like while you're enjoying the hot dog, I'm saying like,
I'll say
you're
it
thinking-
tastes good,
Yeah, you're thinking,
but I'm
like,
not
wow.
going to go, wow, this is way better than pizza. It just won't happen.
Well, some
Call me a loyalist. You know what I'm saying?
Call me true to my word, but
All right. There's letting that Nick. All right, tell him how cool Fenway is. All right, it's pretty cool.
You been to Fenway?
Cooler than Wrigley.
Have you
Okay.
been to Fenway?
Yeah.
I never knew.
Yeah.
When are we going to T-Mobile Park or whatever it's called?
I'm going next year for the All-Star game. Hey, the Sox play the Mariners.
Dude, you know what
later
we
this
should
year.
do? Me and Andrew should get a flight that's like a little bit later, and then hopefully they play right after it in T-Mobile, and then we could go to a game. So you get T-Mobile saved twice in a single week.
That's fine with me.
Well, I think they take like 2 days off after the All-Star game.
Yeah, and usually they don't play the first
Yeah,
game.
but the 2 days
Like the Dodgers did not play their first game back after the break right after.
We'll make it out. We'll make it out.
We could
just not
come-
for the All-Star game. I'm sorry.
yeah, we
I don't
could
want to
come-
go for the All-Star
It's gonna be like
game.
the first 2 weeks of the season. Well, you can go watch them play the Sox because they always play the first couple weeks. And the
I
last couple
will.
weeks.
I will entertain that idea.
I will too. I love Seattle.
And it'll be cheap because it'll be cold and rainy there. No one's gonna want to go.
Perfect. That's
Except
what I
for
like.
us.
Cold
True.
and rainy. Mm.
But we're going to Snoqualmie Falls.
Sure.
That place was really cool.
Are we?
It's in
How are we gonna get there,
like Uber? Rent a car? Oh.
brother? Listen, I thought we were landing, going to the game, and flying back the same.
The same night.
I thought we were gonna red eye there and red eye back. That's what I thought we were.
I thought we were going for a 1 p.m. game, so we had plenty of time to go back to the airport.
I was planning on a 30-hour road trip, going to the game, and then just immediate 30-hour road trip right back.
Oh, now you're speaking my language.
now.
Nick, what's your hot spot?
My hotspot is what I thought they were gonna fix last year with the problem of the Giants playing the Dodgers in like the first round of the playoffs. I thought they were going to fix it this year, but they didn't. It's still the same situation where the Dodgers aren't going to play the worst team possibly after all the wild card breaks out, because in both leagues the NL is the weakest division. So like right now for the AL, right now if the season ended right now, the Yankees would have a first round bye, and the Astros would have a first round bye. So then the Whites or the Twins would play the Blue Jays. Yeah, the Twins play the Blue Jays, and then the Rays would play the Mariners. So then if whoever won between the Rays and Mariners would play the
Yankees.
And then
the winner of the other one plays Houston.
So if the Twins win, which is what ended up happening last year, where actually the better team won. So if the Blue Jays won, the better team, Yankees, have to play the better team, the Blue Jays, over playing the worst team.
Why?
Because it's AL Central. Because of how they have the seeding broken out.
It's so dumb.
So
it's so dumb.
So like right now, the Rays are the worst wild card team. They're the bottom team. So the Rays would play the Twins. Whoever won that game would play the second seed in the conference.
And the Twins are the Twins the third.
And the Twins are because if you're a division winner, the lowest you can get is third seed. Technically, the
so
Twins
it's bullshit
should be.
Is what it is. Gotcha.
Technically, the Twins should be the worst seed.
Okay.
Because they have the worst record out of all the wild card teams.
I get what you're saying now.
So
yeah.
if the
Now
Twins
that's
end up winning,
it's adding up now.
They don't change it to where the worst team plays the best team. They just have all the bracket already set. So then the Astros will play the Twins, which is clearly the worst team record-wise. And then the Yankees would have to play Toronto or Tampa Bay, or Tampa Bay or the Mariners, which both have a better record than the Twins. So the Yankees get
so it's
shafted.
stupid. It's stupid. Gotcha.
What they should just do is break it to where if the wild card team won, so say the Twins win, they're the worst record. They play the first seed.
Yeah, no.
And if the Mariners and the Twins won, the Mariners have a better record. They play the better.
I don't like how they overcomplicated this whole process of you win your every playoff format has gotten weird where now it's just win your division and you're guaranteed in this case one of the top 3 seeds no matter what.
Yeah,
I agree. Win your division, you should be in the playoffs, but if there's two wild card teams that have a better record than you, this should in this case, it's a stupid format.
Yeah.
So the better teams get shafted because they're in a better division.
Because isn't that how the NFL works? The wild card teams play the worst division winners, and then the division winner with the highest, like when the Patriots were 17-0.
Well,
they always played the.
If I remember correctly, only one team in the NFL gets a first round bye on each side.
Yeah.
So the 1 seed gets a first round bye, and then the top two, and then, gosh, now I'm trying to think about playoffs.
Yeah, because
super confused.
They're more because it goes more off your record.
So 6 teams make it because all 4 division winners make the playoffs.
And you get 2 wild cards.
And then you get 2 wild cards. Although they expanded it now, so now it's even more. Oh wait, no, because it used to be 2 teams got the first round bye.
Yeah.
Now only 1 gets it. Okay, it's adding up now.
And now so there's 3 wild card teams.
Is there?
Dude, okay, I'm sorry.
3 wild card teams, 3 division winners, and then the highest record gets a bye. So there's 7 teams that make the playoffs.
I got to look this up because I'm super
Nick
confused.
is right on this. 7 teams make the playoffs from each side. So 6 plus.
But is it based on record? So does the number 2 seed play the worst record?
Yes, it's all off of seeding. So like if you get that first round bye, you're playing the 7th seed. So like it would be
yes. Okay,
the 7th
so
and the 6th seed play, and then you're playing the winner.
I got it now. So only 1 team gets a bye. Number 1 seed gets a bye. 2 play 7, 3 play 6, and then 4 and 5 face off.
Okay.
So winner of 2. So if the number 2 seed beats the number 7 seed, then they don't play the number 1 seed.
Yeah.
Like in the bracket, it looks that way.
Yeah.
But then they become, they play the lowest, whoever wins in that case. Then it goes based on your seeding at that point. So say, you got going into the second round, it's 1, 2, 6, and 4. So then number one plays 6, number 2 plays 4. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but the seeding isn't based. Is the seeding all based on record?
Yes, it's all based on
Okay,
record.
so then I was gonna say because like back when the AFC East when they like no one had a winning record, but you still made the playoffs. I think the Cowboys made the playoffs with the losing, or no, the Redskins.
Redskins.
The Redskins at the time
Or-
won. So like there was no way that they would ever get like this 3rd seed because they still won a division. They would
Right.
just be 7th because they had the worst record. in
Right.
playoffs.
And if you win your division, you get to host a home playoff game.
Yeah.
which that's fine
Because
with me.
in at least in terms of the NFL, it's very rare that you win your division and are like and you're the worst playoff team, if that makes sense.
True. Unless it's
I mean,
NFC,
it's happened, but
East.
even then, you only host the one playoff game.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But I'm fine with that even in the MLB. Like, if the Twins win their division, I think whoever they play in the wild card, they should be the home team because they got first place in their division, other teams didn't.
Yeah.
So that's fine. But if the Twins win,
it should then go
they
to
should-
seeding like the NFL.
they
does
should
it.
play the worst. They should play the best team because they have the worst record.
Yeah, like the Dodgers shouldn't went and played the Giants. They should have went and played.
The Cardinals.
Yeah, like the Cardinals.
Either
Like,
way,
yeah.
Playoff talk is it gets really complicated. The MLB is doing it wrong though because it just
just think
screws over. It screws over certain teams. If
Yeah.
you're in a really good division like the Blue Jays or Seattle, I mean, like Houston's just so good. So the Yankees are just so good. Like you're chasing second place pretty much. It's not to say you're a long shot from first, but in a lot of instances they are long
Well, right now
shots.
the Dodgers are like magic number is 4 to win the division because they're 16 games ahead of San Diego. So it's like
That's crazy.
If they win they only need to win.
I think so. There's not that many games left.
There's like 40.
There's a month left.
So it's about 30 something games. 35, 36 games
Yeah.
are left.
Probably right around there, I would say.
So
literally-
it's a crap playoff
Yeah,
format.
so
We'll leave it at
basically,
that.
The only teams that it favors the MLB setup is like if you have a weaker division. That's the only way it's favored.
Because think about how the Cubs are so far out of
Yeah.
being in first place. They're the same amount of games behind St. Louis as San Diego is behind the Dodgers.
Yeah.
Holy
That's-
shit.
yeah.
so like
so-
same thing with the Mariners. The Mariners are I think 20 games behind the Astros.
Like wouldn't
That
that
doesn't seem right.
wouldn't that be hilarious? Like if the Padres.
Oh
make-
no, only 11 and a half. The Rangers are 21 games behind.
Okay. But wouldn't it be hilarious if the Padres like made all these acquisitions? And,
I don't think it's going to work out for them.
and they don't even make playoffs.
They're 1-5 since making the trade.
Yeah, it's like
I mean, it's a small sample size, so I'm not going to say anything one way or the other. But maybe if Tatis comes back and lights it up, but I don't think they're winning the division. They're chasing a wild card spot.
yeah, like
It's going to take a colossal, like a massive collapse
Yeah.
for the Dodgers to choke that lead. 16 games, you said?
Yeah, that's
It's going to take, like, it's almost insurmountable.
And
at
it's
this,
the Dodgers.
especially at this point in the season. You know what I mean? The Dodgers can coast into the playoffs and a division title at that point. But Tatis still hasn't played this year, right?
no, he hasn't even touched the field.
He hasn't even touched the field. He's Mr. Glassman over there.
Yeah.
It would be
Defensive liability.
if it. I mean, no, not exactly. He reminds me a lot of Javier Baez.
He's either
At
good
the
or
shortstop position, where it's like he can make a flashy play, but sometimes he might get up and the ball just might go nowhere near the first baseman.
Oh, dude, did you guys see that throw from the Nationals to Luke Voigt?
And Luke Voigt just is like, what the.
Yeah, like immediately
am I
was like,
here?
why
But
the fuck am I here?
The Padres, honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if they don't make the playoffs.
I wouldn't either. And
There's
it's
54 games left.
Oh wow.
well,
I thought it was only a month left of the season because I thought it ended like the first or second week of September.
No, it goes all the way into the
Yeah,
end of
so,
September.
like, we got-
Oh, okay, so 2 months left.
What's the date? Oh, it's only the 9th.
Yeah,
I was over here thinking it was further into the
yeah, dude,
month.
I'm like really thinking like we're at
Either
the
way,
end of August.
I mean, the Padres will probably make the wild card. I don't know what they'll do from there, but like I care, bro. I kind of need them. I'm anti-Padres right now. I need them to suck.
why are you anti-Padres?
Yeah, why are you?
I've always been anti-Padres
Is it
because
of the
they were
Tatis and Gavin or James Shields trade.
No, it's not even because of that. I would be salty if Tim Anderson didn't develop into a really good shortstop. So you live with it. It's more so because the Padres and White Sox, quote unquote, finished their rebuild at the same time. So they were the two. They were talked about as like, these are the next two teams to take over the league. And I just need to make the Padres need to not be the better of the two. That's all. As a White Sox fan, I want the White Sox to have more success than the Padres. I don't know what the Padres. What's the Padres record?
I think they're doing better than the Sox.
Oh, no doubt. I have no doubt.
So the Sox are 55-54.
Yeah,
because they lost today to the Royals.
Well, they're in this game number 2 of their doubleheader. Which, by the way, Tim Anderson's out 4 to 6 weeks for hand surgery.
Yeah,
torn ligament. Great. Season's over. Anyways,
Mitch Haniger's back. He had a home run yesterday.
Oh, cool. Padres
61-51.
Okay, so the Padres are definitely better. But as long as they don't win a championship, I'll be fine. I'll be happy.
But
they will be in the playoffs this
also,
year.
They'll be in the playoffs this year, no doubt. And the White Sox should win the division still. They're only like 3 games back, which is embarrassing for the entire AL Central.
Yeah.
But the point is, the reason the Padres are on paper doing a better job with their rebuild is because they're not scared to go and spend money and address needs.
Their manager's also not from 85 years old.
Yeah, their manager's not dozing off in the dugout like don't get me started. Don't get me started. My point is that winning teams spend money and address the needs, and they go and get what they need and deal with it later. Because if you want to win, you need to spend money. And I used to be the guy who hates teams that go and do all that stuff. But then I thought about it. I'm like, if I'm a player and my only goal is to win a championship, of course I'm going to look to go to a team that's willing to spend the money to win a championship. Yeah. Why would I try and go to this little brother team like the Angels, for example, and hope that their young guys develop into superstars and then win before it's time for them to leave? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we rip players and we rip on teams that spend the money, but you know what? Of course they're going to go there. They want a championship. That's their ultimate goal for most of them, at least. So they're going to, if you're ring chasing, of course you go to the team that will spend the money to get you a ring. You know what I mean? Is it annoying? Sure. But put a salary cap in baseball. We'll see how much that shakes up the entire league.
Oh, dude, that would completely change. Like Yankees, non-existent.
I'm an advocate for salary caps in every sport.
I agree.
Personally.
I mean, look at football.
I like it, but then I don't because, look at football. The same teams are always still good. There's a salary cap. Same thing with the NBA. The same teams are always still good. There's always teams like the A's or the Braves or the Brewers who spend a tenth of what the other teams spend, and they're still in the World Series.
Right.
And don't get me wrong, the Jacksonville Jaguars aren't going to be in the Super Bowl for another 20 years, whether there's a salary cap or not.
I get what you're saying.
Jaguars, all right.
I get what you're saying on that, but I feel like if you put a salary cap in, let's look at, baseball and basketball, really the only two that don't have a salary cap. It opens the league up to having way more parity and stuff like that. Yes, the same teams are always winning in the NFL, but so much more of that is based on their player development. You look at teams that have been historically successful. The Chiefs are a great example. A lot of their talent, at least before this past couple of years where they were able to go and get guys, they're all drafted by the team. Yeah. And they developed and everything. And I get it's different. Baseball takes a lot longer to develop and everything. But then look at the NHL where they draft guys who are 18 and some of them don't touch the league for 3 years. It's still the same thing. The salary cap, it's there to prevent teams from being able to pull a Yankees and just go and spend 3 times the money that the Tampa Bay payroll is in their system. And some teams do well, the whole Moneyball strategy and everything. I get it, but if you want true parity in the league, salary cap is the way to do it.
I mean, I understand the argument to a point, but I also don't because the Yankees haven't made it to a World Series in a long time, and they spend the most. The only team that really spends a lot and usually always makes it is the Dodgers recently. No, that's a fair point. So it's just it's one of those things where I don't think they're ever going to put a salary cap in because I think people
they never will,
because people love seeing the Rays versus the Dodgers. They want to see a team that spends $360 million total for each guy, and then they have another team that spends, their most guys paid is $10 million because he's 25.
I just feel like the salary cap is if you want to try and like when you think about it, big markets dominate the MLB for the most part. New York, both of them this year.
Yeah.
LA, the Dodgers, like half of the league's best talent is in those two cities.
Yeah.
That's more so the issue. You have smaller market teams. Let's look at Oakland, for example, who, like, even if they wanted to, they're never going to be able to bring anyone in because they just they can't keep up with the payroll.
Yeah.
Which salary caps help with that. Also, putting in a salary minimum keeps you from being able to effectively tank. So, it's just my thoughts. I'm not saying that it's ever going to happen because it won't. I know it won't.
I just wish some fan base, because I feel like a lot of people always complain about that team spends so much money to get there. But I think other fan bases need to realize that sometimes you need to trade your young guys when you're trying to push for a thing.
Oh yeah, look, the Padres aren't scared to do it.
I see, for me, it was the Mariners when they got Luis Castillo. I really want them to trade anyone. They don't really have a ton of money, where they're not we can't offer a guy the max contract to draw him to Seattle rather than going to LA. But we can trade our guys in our farm system because our team's
the teams need to be willing to do that as well. Like I mentioned, the Padres, they're not afraid to give up stuff to try and win now.
Yeah.
That's what you need. That's what you need to be able to do.
That's what the Sox did last
year. Yeah, well, they're not going to. They're bums. Jerry Reinsdorf doesn't want to increase his payroll. And that's the other thing with having it where there's a luxury tax. Certain teams are more equipped to pay the luxury tax. That's more so where it hurts the smaller markets more than anything.
You look at U.S. Cellular, whatever you want to call it.
The G-Spot, man.
Yeah.
They rarely sell out, if at all.
Yeah, they really only sell out for Yankees games, crosstown, and playoffs.
Yeah. The Yankees are selling out almost every game. So it's if you're going to pay a luxury tax, I feel like you have to base it based on your ticket sales. Don't charge everyone the same luxury tax, because if you're charging everyone the same,
it goes up a certain percentage every year consecutive year you've been over it.
Yeah.
But the Yankees have been paying the luxury tax for 10 years. Do we not see that's the thing? The luxury tax is not a threat to teams that are able to spend over the luxury or over the soft cap. Don't care about the luxury tax. That's why they continue to spend more than that.
That is very true.
Because it doesn't affect them. The Yankees they'll gladly pay. I think they pay 5% of their total payroll now in luxury tax. That's nothing to the Yankees.
Yeah, they just raise their ticket sales.
Let's say their payroll's $400 million. What's 5% of that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Less than four. I mean, was that 4 million? No, that's 10. That's 1%.
That's 40 million would be 10%. So
40 million would be 10. So
20 million.
20 million. They'll pay that.
Yeah, it's
Are you kidding me? How much revenue do you think the Yankees draw in every year? They're one of the most valuable teams in the sports teams in the world. That's the problem with the luxury tax system. If you're gonna put it, you have to hit them hard, because the way it is now doesn't matter to them.
Yeah, 20 million is nothing.
Yeah, whereas that luxury tax, that number can cripple a team, like the Oakland A's.
Yeah, the A's or Tampa Bay or
Tampa. Heck, it would cripple the White Sox, even though they could pay it. But Jerry Reinsdorf would sooner die than pay pay the luxury tax.
Yeah, so the Dodgers spend the most, $265 million is their team payroll.
Okay. And the Yankees?
The Yankees, I believe, are second.
That would make sense.
So yeah, Yankees are second, 251.
Who's under them?
Mets.
Look at them.
Yep, that makes sense.
So the Cubs are actually 14th. They're above the league average. The league average is 147,631.
How?
And the Cubs spend 147,850.
How?
Oh, they're barely over.
The White Sox are 7th.
They're 7th?
They spent 196 million.
Really? Who's above them?
And then the Oakland is actually the lowest. They're 43.
You don't say.
Baltimore. Sorry.
Baltimore. Yeah, that makes sense.
43.
Yeah,
Oakland's 44.
Okay. Yeah.
The Sox are sandwiched in between. The Red Sox are right above them at 207, and the Astros are below them at 182.
All right, where's your Mariners sitting?
21.
21. Oh, wow.
Well, you have to think the Mariners have so many guys: Kyle Lewis, Julio Rodriguez, Jared Kelnick, J.P. Crawford, Ty France, pretty much their entire pitching staff except Luis Castillo are all on the rookie contract. So.
Yeah.
True.
So, I mean, let me look at... I don't know if there's anything on...
It probably doesn't show their luxury tax, but...
It would be...
I mean, that's just my point.
Yeah.
Notice the two cities that are highest in there. They're also the two largest metropolitan areas in the country.
Yep.
Notice how the fact that, Chicago, both the Cubs and White Sox aren't... I mean, the White Sox are 7. That's higher than I thought they were going to be.
That's a lot higher, honestly.
But...
I don't understand how the Cubs are 14th. Like
the Cubs should be up there with those other three
no, they
teams,
should
though.
be. Yeah, like,
they should be up there with the Yankees, Mets, and Dodgers.
Like you make so much money, like that, you should be able to afford $20 million. Like no problem.
It wouldn't even be that much. That was an exaggeration. Like it's gonna be less than half of that. So
yeah, like it's insane. And
so there's one division leader that's below the league average, which is the Twins.
Okay.
And then in the playoff picture, the Orioles are only one game out. The Guardians are close. The
White Sox are close. Don't omit them.
Well, yeah, but they're above. So
Yeah.
I'm saying just below.
Oh, league average.
It's the
right.
Twins, the Brewers, the Mariners, the Rays, the Guardians, and the Orioles. So there's 6 teams below the average that are in the playoff hunt. And then there are
Tons of teams above it.
The Red Sox and the Cubs are only the 2 teams, and I guess the Giants are slowly falling out of the playoff, and the Angels. So there's 4 teams above that are really out of the playoff picture. If you include the
White Sox are still in the picture.
but the Giants, if you include the Giants,
okay.
out,
I was gonna say
Giants.
the lead, their division's so bad that they're somehow still in the picture.
yeah,
I'm not just hanging on to that as a Sox fan, maybe a little bit, but the reality is that somehow they're still in the race.
yeah,
Only for the division, though. That's their only way in. But that's my point. Just they got to do something. You got to address it a little bit, if in some way, but it's not going to change. Is what it is.
yeah. It's been like that for how many? Like over
Forever. It's
yeah,
been like that for
probably
forever. The league's never had a cap.
It's been going on too long. It's not going to change now.
Yeah, no, they're never going to change it. But we'll move on from MLB. Getting to the meat and potatoes of our show this week, which
True.
is going to be the NFL.
Which we have football every Sunday from now until February.
Yeah, but I don't watch preseason.
Yeah, but I mean,
Well, and do you count the Pro Bowl as football on Sunday?
yeah, I mean it counts. I mean, well, regardless, till February.
Also, don't watch the Pro Bowl.
They didn't tackle each other at all last year.
Who
Well,
cares?
hey,
Who
hopefully
cares? We're
they'll
not
change
having
it.
that conversation
Yeah.
again. When it's closer to the Pro Bowl, we'll revisit that conversation.
Are you pumped though for college football and NFL football on New Year's Day?
What?
Because New Year's Day is on a Sunday this year.
That's gonna be awesome.
So I don't know what college football is going to do.
They're not going to play.
They'll probably play on.
They'll probably play
New Year's
Saturday,
Eve.
New Year's Eve, maybe.
Oh, that would be sick too.
There's going to be
honestly.
football on Christmas Day though.
Because the college football, NCAA, they know not to overlap with the NFL. They'll never win that one.
Yeah, that's true.
Although for the New Year's 6, I'd probably watch that over the Bears. I for sure would watch it over the Browns because I'm not watching any Browns games if they're on
Yeah.
TV.
Yeah.
I mean, the college football playoff, I'll watch. If it's on at the same time as just regular season NFL, I'll turn on the college football playoff.
Yeah, college football. Well, but that's always on a Monday.
Yeah, true.
Like
Well,
the
this is
Natty.
the national championship.
Yeah, but the football playoffs are on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Which then don't they go like a month until that championship too.
Yeah.
3 weeks. It's just underneath a month.
Yeah, true.
It's like, man, that's a long time.
Because it's
Yeah,
middle.
it is,
It's
'cause it's
middle of December is the playoff, and then it's the first Monday, not right after New Year's.
No, I thought there was college playoff on New Year's Eve last year. Was I wrong?
I don't remember. Either way, there's a decent break between
Yeah.
the playoff and that.
But there's a lot of Sundays of football
There is.
Yeah,
coming up.
it'll be good. I've missed football.
Yeah, it's nice to have.
I you know what? I need to watch the Bears because I expect them to suck. So I can't
Definitely.
be too disappointed.
Yeah.
Just
Unlike the White Sox.
You
letting
can join
down.
me in the last couple of years before this year with being a Mariners fan, where you just go into the season, you're like, you know what, whatever happens, happens.
Whatever happens, happens.
Yeah, we'll
They might
see.
get your hopes up halfway through the season, but even when they don't make the playoffs, it's like, you know what, this is what we expected, so you can't be mad.
yeah, you can't be too upset about it.
Now I'm gonna start getting mad when they don't make the playoffs, but that's fine.
That's-
We have at least 6 years before the Bears are a playoff team again.
Oh, don't even say that, Nick. Please. No.
Yeah, I don't want that.
Okay,
man.
but don't even say that, Nick. Please don't even say that.
Yeah.
That's worse than the Cubs 2027 window by a year.
We'll get into the Bears later.
Yeah, but let's preview the season here, right? We had an active off season, a lot of trades and everything happening at the it wasn't the trade deadline.
Yeah,
It's the opening of free agency.
Opening of free agency, my bad.
Yeah.
A lot of draft stuff happened as well. Things that just really shook up the league.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a completely different picture in a lot of divisions this year. So why don't we just kind of start previewing some teams that look like they're going to take that next step, right? Like we don't have to highlight all of the offseason moves. We've done that before. And, we can touch up on some of them here. But like teams that were more proactive and set themselves up to compete or improve off of last year, I guess you could say. Like for me, a team that comes to mind right away is the Colts. Colts didn't have a horrible year last year. They were what? Were they 9-8? They just missed the playoffs.
They barely missed because
I think they were 9-8.
Yeah, all because of dumbass Carson Wentz.
Yeah, so they
were up against Jacksonville.
They went and addressed their most pressing need, which is more consistency at quarterback with Matt Ryan. I really think, honestly, Matt Ryan elevates them to a division-winning team, in my opinion.
Especially with A.J. Brown leaving Tennessee.
Yeah, A.J. Brown leaving Tennessee.
But Derrick Henry's still there.
Derrick Henry is still there.
Yeah, but if you think about it, they were really close last year to the Colts could have won that division.
Oh,
and
yeah,
Tennessee
definitely.
could have finished second. So you would say Matt Ryan gets them closer, and then A.J. Brown leaving drops Tennessee. So you have to
they're pretty evenly matched. Honestly, I really think it'll come down to what Ryan Tannehill does for the Titans.
Yeah, he's a wild card.
Yeah, he's the. As weird as it sounds, because Derrick Henry is such a dominant player and he is clearly like the star of the offense, it's Tannehill's quarterback play that will ultimately determine the fate of Tennessee. I think they can make the wild card still if they don't win the division.
Yeah.
But Tannehill is kind of he's the X factor for the division race. Because I really think it's a 2-horse race between the Colts and the Titans.
You don't think the Jags are coming out of nowhere to?
No.
No.
I had that freezing cold take of that they were going to go from worst to first. I bought in on them so hard, and honestly for no good reason. Now that I look back on it, I had no reason to think that.
I'm pumped to see Travis Etienne though.
Yeah, I'm excited to see him, and maybe he helps with Trevor Lawrence a lot. Some familiarity there, but honestly,
also not having a complete idiot as a coach.
True.
Maybe that
might help a little bit, just a little bit too. But the Colts, I think they're my prediction to win the division.
Yeah,
I think it's safe.
That's where I think I'm going to draw the division line is who can beat those two teams beat those bad teams, because like the Colts would have made the playoffs if they could beat the Jaguars.
Yeah,
and Tennessee was able to beat teams that they should have beat. Yeah. So that's why they won the division.
Every year a team loses a game that they shouldn't have lost, just like every team wins a game they shouldn't have won.
Yeah.
For the most part, at least.
The Bears and the Bengals.
Yeah, perfect example. Bears.
Perfect example.
Actually, Bears versus what's it called? Yeah, the AFC.
Yeah. They just were on a tear.
They beat the Bengals and the Raiders were not bad by any stretch. So I mean,
and then you beat those two teams, and then
those two teams lost games that they should have won.
And
so
you
that's
lost
a perfect example.
I'm saying even the Bears, you lose to Lamarless, the Ravens.
Yeah.
After beating the Bengals, you're like,
yeah, no, exactly. Like you lose a game, you should win, and you win a game, you should lose. It happens for most teams in the league. So Colts versus Titans. Who does that happen to less? Basically, if Tannehill plays really bad and Malik Willis sees the field, I think the Colts will run away with the division.
Yeah.
Because that's not a knock on Willis. It's more so, dude's a rookie quarterback who has a lot of work that needs to be done still. He's a very much raw talent. But it could end up working. I guess you never know. But I do think the Colts are going to end up winning the AFC South. That's going to lock that one in.
No,
I'm confident in that.
Yeah. No.
I like the veteran of Matt Ryan.
Yeah. That's the difference. Like I said, Tannehill's the X factor because he is what will either hold back the Titans or help them excel. So, but the real difference maker for the Colts is obviously Matt Ryan. That like you said earlier, Nick, that raises them to a whole nother level of competing with the Titans.
But you hope that with them drafting Malik Willis, maybe that lights a fire under Tannehill's ass.
I mean, yeah,
you never know.
You would hope,
no, I think it's safe. I know Nick is gonna agree with me too. He loves his team. We're gonna have to say the Dolphins, man.
Oh yeah, I feel like you can't.
Yeah,
you can't. Look at what the Dolphins did, right? Tyreek Hill is huge. Him and Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
Tua has not looked bad at all either.
Yeah, and
he didn't underthrow Tyreek Hill.
Yeah.
Recently, so there's that.
So it's
Tyreek Hill says he's the most accurate quarterback in the NFL.
But of course you're gonna say that. I don't like.
Yeah. If I was being paid $120 million to lie, I would.
Right? I mean, yeah.
But you're also not gonna be like, my quarterback sucks when you just got there. Like teams have definitely said this in the past. When you're 3-6 to start the season, that's okay to say that. Not when you're in preseason.
Yeah, I think then we'll really see. But yeah, they bought in on Tua, surrounded him with weapons. They added Cedric
Wilson.
Yeah, Cedric Wilson. Yeah, from the Cowboys. Definitely got shit ton of running backs. So hopefully one of them.
Yeah, Mike Gesicki, who to me is one of the more underrated tight ends.
Yeah, he is.
Not underrated like people think he's bad. I just don't think a lot of people know about him.
Yeah, he's like one of those like mid tiers where you're like he could be good, but he's not quite there.
Yeah, he can have games where like it looks like he's a top 5 receiver tight end, and then all of a sudden there's games where he gets like 2 catches for 10 yards, and you're like, okay, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for the Dolphins is that coaching regime coming from the Kyle Shanahan style offense, where literally they can plug in any guy into running back and even Deebo Samuel, and they still produce.
Yeah.
The Dolphins really did not have a running game last year.
No, yeah.
And I'm hoping that it doesn't matter who's out there, they're going to run well because they have the new coaching
That's
staff.
true. And then Teron Armstead, again, another huge signing by them. They just made a lot of acquisitions this year, and they're another one that hinges on how well this Tua will play. That's my whole factor. And if you surround him with the right weapons, and hey, if he's falling out in camp so far, maybe you see them make a run.
The only thing that's scary is the Bills playing the same division.
That is true.
And
that's,
if Mac Jones takes the next step as a quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But I'm not exactly buying in on the Mac Jones year 2 hype.
Yeah, no.
Mac Jones seems to me, and kind of how the team kind of shaped out over the offseason, was like a very good candidate for a sophomore slump. Where
he's a perfect.
There's some guys that were rookies that like Ramondre Stevenson had like an amazing season, but now teams are going to game plan for him. Now they have Devontae Parker, but also it's a new guy, so now he's got to get used to throwing to him instead of other guys. So it's just like
he'll probably have I don't think he's going to have a bad year, but he's not going to be. The expectations, this is what happens. This is why it's called the sophomore slump. You have a good, I was going to say freshman year. You have a good rookie year. Everyone is now like, oh, here it is. Not time for the next step. And it's like sometimes the next step happens in year 3.
Yeah.
Because the next step also involves adjusting to a league that has adjusted to you.
Yeah.
And that takes a little bit for young guys.
Colin Kaepernick treatment that I've saw so many teams do. It's like he looked so good for his first couple of years, and then teams figured out,
force him to keep him in the pocket and make him a pocket passer.
Yeah, he doesn't really throw that well, even when he has time. So just keep him in the pocket, don't let him run. Yeah, and just make him beat you with.
That's what happens with a lot of guys, which is why it's important you develop that pocket presence and everything.
Yep.
Which is why you've seen Lamar Jackson improving his the throwing aspect of his game, because even though he's completely different level of talent from Kaepernick, the point is that if you can be that mobile and throw a lot, like really well, there's no containing you. So that's why Lamar Jackson really hasn't been slowed down yet, because teams have to play to the fact that he can also throw.
Yeah, you can't.
Now he's got like no wide receivers this year. Good luck to him. But
he can throw to himself.
Yeah, I'm sure he's fast enough.
J.K. Dobbins probably won't tear his ACL again.
Shut up. Hopefully not. Another team that I like, and this is less about additions they made and more so what the rest of the division has done, that's the Vikings. Bears are going to suck. Detroit's Detroit. Green Bay, they lost Devontae, so that we don't really know the impact that will
They still have Aaron Rodgers.
They still have Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. But you know what? They got Captain Kirk over there. And Minnesota has always been the one team in the division that seems to have like the blueprint to beating Green Bay.
Yeah.
So I think the division is between Minnesota and Green Bay. I don't think it's going to really be close between the other teams. I could see Minnesota in the wild card. Kirk Cousins is going to throw for over 35 touchdowns, over 4,000 yards. Get them.
I thought you meant in the wild card game. I'm like, that's a
No,
lot
no,
of
no, no.
points.
Just be like,
What are you saying?
Kirk's going to have a good season, 35 plus TDs, over 4,000 yards, less than 15 interceptions.
That's the biggest thing for me, is he rarely hurts the team in a game.
Yeah,
until,
he's just
until
got
you get to a game where he's like down 3 scores and he has to throw consistently.
Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. I partially put this in there just so I could get that out again, because I'm not here for the Kirk Cousins slander.
Again, we're picking right back up where we left off.
It's just you versus Bobby on this.
Yeah, I know. Nick agrees with me.
I think Kirk Cousins. I mean, like he's
an excellent quarterback.
Okay, I wouldn't say excellent.
All right, I wouldn't say
He's
excellent.
good.
He's a good quarterback. He's not.
He's above average.
Yeah, he's well above
Top 10.
average.
10th.
Yeah, I'm saying like
9,
right
10.
at that 10.
He's right at that 9, 10 area. Here, let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How good do you think Derek Carr is?
He's in the same place for me as Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly elevated.
Where do you rank
He's a
Derek
little-
Carr in the league?
Well,
If you have to give him a number 1 through 32.
all right. Well, this year I'm gonna rank him high. I'm gonna put him at like 9 or 8 because he
Okay,
has
so Kirk Cousins is right around there.
Yeah.
They're about the.
Yeah, but
Where do you rank Dak Prescott?
Healthy, Dak Prescott.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like Dak Prescott really.
I would put 8. I would put Derek Carr 8, Dak Prescott 9, Kirk Cousins 10. But if Dak doesn't stay healthy,
my thing is
then I
Dak
put Kirk above.
and Dak and Kirk are the same quarterback,
No,
just different complexion.
like I said, like
their numbers are super similar.
Yeah.
Last year, they were very similar numbers wise, and Dak has a better team around him. He has a more complete team, better defense.
And to
Minnesota's
me,
defense
Dak and Derek
wasn't as
Carr
good.
are slightly more mobile. Not like a crazy amount.
Oh yeah,
but
no,
just
they are.
slightly
They
enough,
are.
So that's why I just put them barely ahead.
That's the thing is like those 3 guys are 8, 9, and 10 in whatever order you want to put them in. I would put Derek Carr at 8, and then you can put Dak and Kirk wherever you want at 9 and 10. Personally,
but I'm buying in Derek Carr this year. Like,
you gotta.
Like-
But my point is, Minnesota they're in a good position to where I think they can kind of make an unexpected run at the division.
Yeah.
They've had the blueprint to beating Green Bay for the last number of years. New coaching change is going to be something they have to adjust to, but it's going to be a more offensive focused coach instead of Mike Zimmer, who is struggling defensively. So if their offense can make Kirk Cousins even better, you got to think the sky could be the limit for that offense.
Yeah.
And if the defense can just be average and you have a really good offense, then you should be pretty solid.
Yeah.
And
you're getting to play 4 games against the Bears.
you
and
should
Lions.
have 4 easy wins.
Yeah, and you beat the Packers usually at least once a year.
Yeah,
if
you
not
figure they
twice.
split. You figure they split.
Unless Sean Mannion's starting, then it's.
Yeah, well, but if you figure they split with the Packers and beat the Bears twice, beat Detroit twice, that's 5-1 in the division.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a really good record. Green Bay will most likely have the same record, except not really because the Bears are going to beat them twice this year.
Well, the Packers usually lose to the Lions once.
That's
For
true.
some
They do
random
normally
reason.
lose to the Lions
Yep.
once. I think Minnesota's got a chance though.
No, I like Minnesota. They're good.
I would buy into it.
I think that's going to be the best. That's going to be the best looking team, changing from last year to this year, that didn't move anything. Like to
Yeah.
me, the Broncos look like a good team that's going to be better this year than last year. But they
did a lot.
a huge change. Yeah, it
Let's
sucks
hear it.
that-
Let's hear it, Nick. Let's
like,
hear
well,
it.
they get, you got
Let's
Russell
hear
Wilson.
it. Come on, give me.
To me, that's a top
No, give me your Russell Wilson. Come on.
Broncos country.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Broncos country. Let's ride.
No, they're going to ride
Anyways,
slightly
just-
less because was it Tim Patrick? I think his name is.
Yeah,
Who
towards
got
the-
hurt.
yeah.
But they have Cortland Sutton, Jerry Judy.
I'm a big Cortland Sutton fan.
I think the Broncos weren't that bad. Drew Lock just wasn't.
That good.
Well, it's like not even that he wasn't that good. He wasn't.
He wasn't that good.
To me, I could see Drew Lock way down the line getting to a certain career trajectory like Ryan Tannehill, to where it's like you don't really expect him to be the guy who go out there.
Maybe
and
it
do
happens
stuff.
in Seattle.
but it doesn't
I don't know,
hurt
man.
them. Whereas the Broncos needed a guy who's going to change the game,
Yeah.
which
And
Russell
Drew Lock
Wilson
wasn't
will.
doing that.
Their defense was good. It's a weird situation because they got rid of Von Miller last year, but then now they pull in. So it's like now we're going to go back to trying to win.
Yeah.
After like it looked like last year they were just blowing up the team for the next 5 years.
Right.
But the only thing again that like I like, they're a team to watch because they're on the rise, but so is the whole rest of their division.
Oh yeah, the whole
Yeah.
division is. The thing with the Broncos is they said that they want to get Melvin Gordon more involved, which would be huge for that offense
Yes.
to get him more involved. But like you said, Nick, the entire division is pretty much on the rise. And I wouldn't, with exception to the Chiefs, but the Chiefs are already really high. So it's not even like the Chiefs fell off.
On our list, we have 3 of the teams in that division.
How about the Chargers? Went and made all these splash moves on defense.
J.C. Jackson,
Khalil Mack.
You got
Their offense speaks for itself.
Yeah. And
Justin Herbert's a top 5 quarterback.
yes, 100%.
J. Herb, love him.
Yeah, yes.
Is he top 5?
Dude.
I think he's got to be
Yes,
close.
he is.
I'm putting him in there.
I would.
Aaron Rodgers, Mahomes, Josh Allen, Tom Brady, and then you'd put Herbert 5.
Yeah, everyone. I love Joe Burrow, but statistically, Herbert is better. Physically, Herbert's more physically talented.
I just think when you say top 5, you always just think like, oh, that can't be right, and then you list them off, and you're like,
Yeah.
The only thing I get is a fully healthy Lamar Jackson. I feel like he's got to be just because he's.
Lamar Jackson is. See, it gets tough because I think you have your clear-cut number 1 and 2, and this is in no particular order, but Mahomes and Allen, I think, are. You got to throw Rodgers in there. It's tough, dude. The top 4 is pretty much solidified between Allen, Mahomes, Brady, Rodgers. Whatever order you want to put those 4 in, feel free. The point is, those are your top 4 in the league, and that's pretty safe to say.
Yeah.
And
5, 6, and
is
7.
One of those guys in that top 4, talent-wise, should not be a top 5 quarterback, but he just wins games. That's Brady.
Yeah.
If you just purely look at talent,
Physical
Brady's
talent,
probably
yeah.
7th because
Yeah,
Joe Burrow's
physically
looking so
speaking,
good.
it's just.
Justin Herbert's looking good. Lamar Jackson's amazing.
Yeah.
But you got your first 4 there, then your 5, 6, and 7. I would go personally Herbert, Lamar, then Burrow, and then 8, 9, and 10.
are the 3 guys we just talked
Who we
about.
talked about.
Well,
I
actually,
would go Derek, Kirk, or Dak.
where do you
however
put
wanna
Russell Wilson?
Russell Wilson's.
Is he 11?
He's 11. I mean, well, we'll see if he has a good year this year.
See,
but
because that's where I
down
draw the
year.
line with Dak, where I could drop Dak off and put Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
10.
See,
Yeah.
but my thing is when I do that, when I try and rate guys like that, I try not to let like legacy into the picture. I very much use that what have you done lately, not what have you done in the past.
Yeah.
So you look, Russell Wilson's coming off of a rough year. Seattle hasn't been that good for 2 years now. So he's got to be 11 for me. Russell Wilson 4 years ago,
Yeah.
it was a whole different ball
top
game.
5, easy.
But you look at all the talent in the league now, the quarterbacks that have emerged. It's just I can't put him there yet.
Yeah.
And I'll be happy if he proves me wrong. I'm a Russell Wilson fan. I'm also not buying into Kyler Murray at all.
No.
I think his contract is going to ultimately hurt the Cardinals, but I also think he's got a crap coach. So Cliff Kingsbury's bum energy.
Fair enough. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but Broncos Chargers for that division. And I guess
The Chargers' offense is already good, and their defense just got so much better.
Yeah.
And you got to throw the Raiders in that conversation.
I know Bobby loves them.
Devontae Adams. They
That
added,
acquisition alone, it's going to be such a tough division.
and they added a lot of pieces on defense as well, like Bilal Nichols, like a bunch of things. They addressed a bunch of needs that they needed to go into, and
Yeah.
like they were on the cusp of being a playoff team. Like,
They made the playoffs.
oh yeah, they did make.
They made the
playoffs,
playoffs, lost to the Bengals.
Yeah, they made the playoffs last
And
year.
they
so it's
had a
like,
chance. Their final drive just didn't pan out.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Now you have
So they were in it to the final minute.
Josh McDaniels instead of Rick Bisaccia.
Rick Bisaccia.
Which-
I wish he would have been.
You
a
could
head
argue
coach.
who would you want between those two, but at least regardless of who you went, you're gonna have that coach for the whole year. It's not gonna be a John.
Yeah,
Gruden
you
situation
got to
where
figure
it's
they're
just
everything else they had to overcome just to, like off the field stuff. If they don't have all those distractions, which speaks to the mental fortitude of the players, and
Yeah.
I think tons of credit has to be given to Rich Bisaccia for how he was able to keep that ship afloat with
Yep.
all that going on. You
still
figure if
make
you
it
don't
look
have
like-
those distractions and you have the best wide receiver or the second best wide receiver, wherever you want to put them, now on your team, who coincidentally has been who's a former college teammate with Derek Carr, and they've done offseason training every year. It's like it's a match made in heaven for a wide receiver quarterback
You had a
duo.
top 5 tight end.
You've got a top 3, we'll say top 5 to be safe. Top 5 tight end.
Don't disrespect Hunter Renfrow.
You have, in my
You
opinion,
have one of the better slot
you
receivers. There you
have
go.
the most crafty route running wise wide receiver.
Yeah,
in
Hunter
slots.
Renfro's so
Cooper
he's
Kupp's-
not underrated anymore. He's
Cooper
just
Kupp
everyone
is
understands
faster
he's a very quality
and a
wide
better
receiver.
slot receiver overall. But Hunter Renfro's route running ability and just IQ
Yeah,
of
he's
running
just
routes
good. Like
is
he's
the top
got
pick.
football IQ, man.
Yeah.
He
And
makes
Josh
up
Jacobs.
for what he lacks in talent.
Yeah.
So the team is just on paper they're going to be good.
Yeah.
You have to figure the defense will improve. The Bilal Nichols signing had put him in the center of the line. Max Crosby continues to develop.
Yep.
Say their secondary continues to improve and everything. Like the team's just on paper they should be another huge jump, not huge jump because they made the playoffs, but another good jump from last year. That whole division is going to be brutal to watch.
Hardest division, for sure.
Yeah, they might take over the NFC West for the hardest division in the league.
Just because the Seahawks are not quite up there. And you don't know what the 49ers are doing at quarterback. So
Yeah, so the Seahawks and 49ers are holding back that division. Actually, no, screw it. Cardinals are going to suck. All right, I'll say it right now. Cardinals aren't going to be very good.
That's
9-8, which to me, for the expectations that are on that team, is a bad year. 9-8.
That's true. Also, D-Hop's missing 6 games.
He's also missing 6 games, and
So-
Kyler Murray was horrible without him all year.
Terrible.
One final team, I think. Bobby, was this you who added the Bengals?
Yes, you have to
Okay.
add the
I don't agree with you putting them in there because they made the playoffs and
They made the Super
Yes.
Bowl.
So
They did make the Super Bowl, but here was their huge downfall: the offensive line.
Fair, yeah.
And,
They addressed the
Like,
O-line.
They addressed the O-line, so you have to think if they theoretically, if they make it to the playoffs with a terrible O-line, you address the offensive line, they could be right back there.
But I look at our list. Outside of the Raiders, every other team didn't make the playoffs,
Yes,
correct.
which I think is the nature of our teams to look out for,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
but
here.
I just wanted to put that in there.
they made good. Yeah, no,
Yes.
they're but on the rise. I wouldn't say because they got as close to the top of the mountain as you can without making it to the top of the
Yes.
mountain.
They get to the top of their mountain. Like I was saying earlier about the Mariners and the Bears. Like I don't think any Bengals fan last year was like, "We're gonna make the playoffs."
No, yeah.
I think they were
Let
most
alone
likely
the
like, "Hey,
Super Bowl.
we can fight for we can beat the Steelers, and we might be able to fight the Browns for the second spot in the division."
Yeah.
And then you go make the playoffs, they're already a win from that.
Yeah.
And then you make it to the Super Bowl, you're already on.
Yeah.
You're at the top of your mountain. Yes, you didn't win everything, but you're as high as you're higher. than you
It's hard to
expected.
say they're a team on the rise, but I guess yes, they're a team to look out for. But
Yes.
the season expectations have them as a team to already look out
Yeah.
for, I think is my point there. But doing a whole 180, right? There's
Teams that are on
just
the-
like there's teams that are on the rise, there's teams that are just crashing and burning.
Yep.
on the downward trajectory.
The downward trajectory, as one of the three of us would put it earlier.
Yes.
Wearing an Adidas hat. One of the two of you.
That is
And
true.
a Vans t-shirt.
True.
That was just Bobby. Now you sealed them out.
Anyways, yeah, so some teams that, we said we'd talk about the Bears a little later, but teams that are not doing that, not very optimistic going into the year. Bears, perfect example. Do we want to dig on the Bears right now?
I mean, it's really.
Yeah, we can dig in them.
Yeah,
Let's dig on the
let's
Bears
go
right
for
now
it,
because
honestly.
today Roquan Smith officially requested a trade. So
He-
Ryan Poles,
He
go
more
ahead.
of demanded a trade. Let's be honest.
It's all a negotiating tactic because he doesn't have an agent. He represents himself, so this could be a negotiating tactic. And he did put in there that he hopes the McCaskies can work it out, but then he added that. But as of right now, it's difficult to see a road back to the organization. And this is one of those things where this was one of my biggest worries about bringing in a new GM and new head coach is that sometimes they have such a focus on, their system, their guys, their vision, that they just kind of will let guys go before they even fit.
Yeah.
But like before they even get a chance to fit. You know what I mean? Roquan Smith is a top 5 inside linebacker in the entire league.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like
he's been snubbed of a first team All Pro twice, in my opinion. I've detailed that on previous episodes. Go ahead and check our previous episodes for that, guys.
Check the backlog.
Yeah, check the backlog. It's all out there. You can hear my thoughts there. But he's a top 5 inside linebacker in the league, and he wants to be paid like one. More so wants to be paid like the best linebacker in the league. So I understand to a certain extent, well, you gotta think a little bit before you just make someone the new highest paid player at their position. But they have the money to spend.
Yes.
They're going to have over $120 million in cap space going into the offseason. Roquan's, which going into next year is when this contract would go into effect.
Yeah.
Roquan Smith is 25 years old. He's got a good 6 years before you expect any kind of, regression theoretically. But they're in today's day and age, players play for so long, he could go even longer for all we know. He's got safety speed, football instincts. He's one of the best in the position. You have to pay the man. But this whole attitude of like, well, he's not my guy. We got to bring in our guys. This is the dangers of it, and this can really hurt you because you don't just let a top 5 talent at their position leave.
Not when they're in their mid-20s.
Not when they're not when they just turned 25. I get it if Roquan's 28, 29 and negotiating a new contract. Okay, at that point you're thinking he's got 2-3 years of being a really productive player before he physically starts to decline.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't want to throw the guy a 6-7 year contract of $20+ million a year. That's completely fair. But we're talking, if you gave him right now a 6-year contract, that takes him till he's 31.
And you get
you would think, if I'm a GM, my goal is to be, if I'm offering Roquan a 6-year contract, my hope is that by year 3 of that contract is when we are a playoff contending, championship contending team. Like that's got to be your vision. Yeah. And you don't let young talent that is as talented as him walk away just because.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You pay Roquan Smith. You have the money. You're on the rookie contract of your quarterback. Pay Roquan Smith. The salary cap in the NFL is a joke anyways. There's so many ways to work around it. Every team does it. Look at the Rams. Perfect example. Like you can pay the guy and still have over $100 million in cap space for the rest of the offseason. Next year. Like that's the thing. If you paid him $21 million, you're still at $102 or $103 million in cap space.
Yeah.
What's the hesitation?
To me, it's like the whole point. Like I understand thinking of like, especially with like new teams, new coaches, new GMs. Like you don't fit our scheme, but when you have a guy, what scheme does he not fit into? Every team needs an inside linebacker. Like you can't just run a defense that doesn't have an inside linebacker. But he's fat. Like I understand if you have 2 like bigger middle linebackers who can't cover the outside. Yeah. Okay, we have to get rid of one of them because the defense that we want to run, we're gonna cover more ground. Roquan Smith, he doesn't miss tackles a lot. He usually is the first one to the ball. Whether he's on the right side, left side of the field, he gets to the ball. So it's like
you look at his numbers throughout this point in his career, and he is in truly elite company. He is one of 3 or 4 linebackers. I think he's actually the only player since 2018 to record over 100 tackles, 2 sacks, a forced fumble, and an interception in every season. I think, if I remember correctly, he's the only player since 2018 to do that every year. That's a big deal. 100+ tackles. He's not in position for sacks because they use him in coverage a lot, right? They want him to play the Darius Leonard, who I guess
Shaquille Leonard.
Yeah, but I thought he used to go by Darius Leonard.
Yeah, he does go by Darius Leonard.
Okay, Shaquille. They want him to play the Shaquille Leonard weak side linebacker position, which theoretically he should only become more productive in that case because his talent as inside linebacker was already indicative that he could play that position. So he should be fine with that. But to me, it feels like Poles and the Bears are just kind of like, well, we're changing positions. We don't really know how good you're gonna be, so we're not going to commit to you. And it's just like, one, it's insulting to a player, especially one of his caliber, who could truly play where you put him. And 2, it looks bad. Like You're really gonna just let a top 5 talent go?
Well, to me, I knew Roquan Smith was really good, and I knew he was young. But when you sent the thing to our group chat earlier about how he's just with Patrick Willis, Levante David, Shaquille Leonard, and Brian Urlacher for his first 4 seasons. Those are the only 5 guys that are at the same level as him.
Right.
So a Hall of Famer, and then
a future Hall of Famer, I believe, in Patrick Willis.
Yeah. Yep. Well, I'm just saying, like, even forget that part. 3 of the top 5 linebackers in the league, plus Roquan Smith's in that top 5. So it's like,
what are we talking about?
Yeah, like it should be no decision. You pay the man. You
right.
lock that down.
That's my thing. Like he is as productive as Shaquille Leonard has been, and for 4 years he didn't play the same position as him.
Yeah.
In the defense that Leonard played in, which now Roquan is going to play in, set him up to be that productive.
Yeah.
You know, Roquan's got good ball instincts. I know Leonard's got more. Darius Leonard's got Shaquille Leonard. This is confused. I'm calling him Darius Leonard. All right?
Darius Leonard, yeah.
Darius Leonard has got more interceptions and more forced fumbles, but he played a position that put him in position to make those plays more, whereas Roquan didn't, right? So, but take those 2 aspects out of it, he's been more productive. I believe he's got more total tackles, more tackles for loss. So what's the question here? That's my thing is like, so he's been as productive as arguably the best linebacker currently in the league. In fact, he's been more productive in most aspects of the position, and he plays a slightly different. For 4 years, he's played a slightly different style of the linebacker position that doesn't put him in the same position and give him the same opportunities to make those turnovers that Darius Leonard has had. And we're questioning whether or not he can do it. That's the problem.
Yeah. My biggest problem with that, like, the stats are big too because just of how good he is. Like, it's not like he's like an okay middle linebacker, but I would say like even to the level of if he was like Danny Trevathan level for the Bears, so pretty solid, not terrible, not
before all the injuries.
Not,
but
yeah,
I get what you're
saying.
saying.
So he's 25-year-old Danny Trevathan. I would want at least one veteran. I don't want Jalen Johnson to be my veteran defender that I have.
Yeah,
because everyone else is gone.
Well, Eddie Jackson, but still, you need a linebacker, man.
You need a guy who's front
he's
7
your
that's gonna be a
quarterback.
veteran
Yes,
guy.
exactly.
Where Eddie Jackson's your defensive back.
Your 2 veterans can't be a 3rd-year cornerback and your free safety.
Yeah.
Like they can't be the only 2 veterans on the team.
Yeah.
Robert Quinn, I guess, yes, but he's also only going into his 3rd year with the Bears.
Yeah.
So this is a bad look for Ryan Poles. This is his first. I think this is his first real test, and this is going to kind of tell us the story. This is going to kind of paint the picture of what his deal is. You guys know I've been skeptical of him. I liked his head coach hire, but since the Khalil Mack trade, I've been skeptical of what he's going to do.
Yeah.
Again, I didn't mind the Khalil Mack trade for getting rid of Khalil Mack.
No,
but you could have gotten more.
Yes, that was my thing. I knew,
guy.
but I knew he was going to get traded.
Yeah,
because I knew when Poles came in, it was going to be a lot. There was a lot of. I just stumbled there. There's going to be a lot of like undoing what Ryan Pace did. Every GM does it. You know, it's to be expected. So I knew Mack was going to get traded.
And Khalil Mack was closer to 30. So it's like
he was
the same point you just
like,
made earlier makes sense for Roquan, except he's 25. So no.
Yeah.
It just is like this is going to be a tough one because I've watched him ascend. Like I still don't believe he's done anything to really help Fields. We've signed some, throwaway offensive linemen that might be that, yes, are upgrades comparatively to what we had at the O-line, but not exactly, game-changing talent at the O-line position. This whole Tevin Jenkins thing's going on, whatever the story is there's so many different things circulating. It's hard to keep up. But I don't like the idea of just giving up on a guy going into his 2nd year. But whatever, you do you, man. I've tried to see the big picture here through all of these moves that made no sense. 5 off-season arrests. Our biggest move at the wide receiver position was N'Keal Harry,
who is hurt,
who has a high ankle sprain. No disrespect to N'Keal Harry, but if that's your biggest move at the wide receiver position, I'm not exactly thrilled about the wide receiver room.
It's not a great move.
Yeah, so it's just there's so much that he has done that makes me it continues to make me skeptical of him as a GM. But that hurt my hand. But whatever, they could all prove me wrong. I hope it does. But the Roquan Smith one will be very hard for me. It'll be a tough one for me to swallow, and that might actually make me root against the Bears, which sucks because I don't want to.
Nope.
I already root against the White Sox now. I don't want to root against the Bears. Those are the only two teams I've got.
The Bulls, the Bulls.
Yeah, but then I just don't care about the NBA all that much.
That's true.
We can become a really big college football, fan base. We can just watch all the U of I games.
Oh, that's an idea. I'll watch the Georgia games. How's that?
Yeah. Hey, you got Georgia.
No, it's gonna remind you too much of Roquan. I don't want you doing that. That's not good for your mental health. I will not let that happen.
No, it will actually. But yeah, so there's our Bears dig in. Let's keep kind of rolling through here.
Talking about Georgia,
we can go on.
We can talk about the team from Georgia, the Falcons.
Yes, Falcons, another one.
Because now they have who's the wide receiver they got? Drake London.
Yep, Drake London.
So now you have Drake London, Kyle Pitts, but you don't have Matt Ryan anymore. You really don't have anyone.
You got Marcus Mariota, Desmond Ritter, Boof. Nothing against Desmond, he's a rookie. Nothing against Mariota, but by all accounts, he's not very good.
Yeah, he's not Matt Ryan.
You don't have a stud run game.
Don't really have Todd Gurley. What is he gonna do? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
O-line's not great.
Todd Gurley.
Is he not in Atlanta?
No, Todd Gurley's gone, dude. He's not even playing for a team.
Who's their running back then?
Cordell Patterson.
Oh, that's duh. I saw a thing. It was a video. It was like putting into perspective players' ages, and it was I forgot who it was. Who was the same age as Todd Gurley? Oh, what's his face from 49ers? I'm blanking on his name.
Right.
Wide receiver, running back, wide receiver guy.
Debo Samuel.
Debo Samuel's the same age as Todd Gurley. Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he's the same
insane.
age. They're the same age, but I saw it was a picture of Todd Gurley in a Falcons uniform, so that's where my mind went on that.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Damian Williams is their running back.
Oh, that's right. They just took a bunch of Bears players because Ryan Pace is there now. This is another team though, mostly because of their quarterback room that you don't really have high expectations for.
No.
But they were already bad.
You don't got faith in Felipe Franks?
No.
Third string quarterback?
No, I don't.
I'm looking at their depth chart now. I want to see something.
Felipe Franks converted to tight end, and he has been balling out.
So Taysom Hill? Taysom Hill 2.0?
Yeah, dude. Honestly,
Either way, the quarterback room's nothing. It doesn't really wow you with the Falcons, right? And they already struggled as a team with Matt Ryan there, who is I think this is an obvious downgrade at quarterback.
Their defense
is
ass.
Especially now that Eddie Goldman retired.
Yep.
So, that's tough.
You always go to so Drake London could be a stud. He could not be a stud. But you had Julio Jones a couple years ago, and you had Calvin Ridley, and you had Matt Ryan more in his prime. And your team still was struggling after you blew the 28-3 lead. You really went downhill after that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now your defense has gotten worse. Your quarterback's not as good. You're a little bit younger, so maybe they can revive. Maybe Mariota can revive his career there, but still, you're not. There's no way Cordell Patterson, like we talked earlier, is not going to be guarded differently and schemed for differently by defenses.
Yeah, they're really going to be reliant on Pitts and London, which makes it difficult. The defense isn't great. Your quarterback room's not very good. You've gotten worse at the most important position on the field, which is quarterback. At least that's what they all say. It's the most important position. So don't at me on that one. At every NFL, analyst who says that. Anyways, you've gotten worse at that position. You can't imagine. It just doesn't look like it's going to be a very great year for Falcons fans.
No.
Desmond Ritter. You don't really know if he's actually a franchise quarterback. He could be. Third round pick is kind of that gray area of, do you give the guy a chance? Do you not? He's only got Mariota in front of him, so I think it's possible. And with Mariota's injury history, it's possible that he sees the field.
Plus, they might start the year 0-7, and at that point,
you might as well shake it up.
Desmond, go out there. Literally, you can lose the next.
Do
10
anything
games,
because it's not worse
care.
than 0-7 so far. But it's another team that got worse at quarterback. We talked about Russell Wilson going to Denver. Drew Lock went to Seattle.
Yep.
So Russell Wilson wasn't winning games with the Seahawks. I'm call me crazy, but I don't believe Drew Lock's going to have any easier of a time.
I don't think so.
Well, and Bobby Wagner, we talked about, is already gone. Jamal Adams, I don't think Pete Carroll likes him anymore, and I really don't know if how many games he's gonna play, just because he seems like he's being really diva-ish.
Yeah.
End of last year, off season.
Yep. And
you're in the second hardest division now.
Yeah, and you're just in the midst of a complete rebuild.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be facing some defenses, man.
Like,
Rams defense is crazy. 49ers defense is crazy. Even the Cardinals defense is pretty good.
Yeah.
So, I mean...
Hey, but it makes sense. The Mariners started getting good in the second half of last year, and the Seahawks are like, we're done. We don't have to be the only good team to come out of Seattle.
So now they're just enjoying being bad.
Yeah.
But, yes, Seahawks one I think is pretty self-explanatory.
Yeah.
You lost... Same story as the Falcons. I mean, they locked up DK, so that's cool. Yeah. But you lost your best player. And
I like them slightly more than the Falcons, but putting them in that stud division drops them back to the same level as Falcons.
Yeah. Like, so it just is like,
where are you really going to go? You can only go down when you get rid of
another year that probably won't be very good. And then I don't know who put this one on there. Cowboys.
I did. Because
I was curious.
I thought Andrew put that.
I was curious. I mean, I know they lost Amari Cooper.
So they lost Amari Cooper. I feel like Zeke isn't looking great. He looked a little chunky at the start of preseason. But to me, Ezekiel Elliott over the past couple of years has slowly been going down, and they've been giving more touches to Tony Pollard. But I honestly think if you fully rely on Tony Pollard, that's not going to help. So to me, looking at the Cowboys, you're trusting Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb. And then with those two guys and then your running game. And you're putting a lot of faith in Trevon Diggs to keep points off the board and get interceptions.
Yeah. I would put the Cowboys as more of a question mark because
like
they're I feel like they're a question mark every year because they just flip-flop years when they're good and bad.
Yeah.
And they don't really do much crazy there's not really crazy changes to their roster every year. They just some years they're on, some years they're off. It feels like they're pretty much dependent on what their strength of schedule ends up being.
Yeah.
Yes. But that's the only thing I don't like is they got rid of a lot of. It seems like their wide receivers they just kind of let go, and they were just like, we're not going to upgrade our.
Is Gallup there still?
Yeah, they locked up Gallup, so it's
Gallup, CeeDee Lamb,
and then they got a rookie. What's his name?
Oh my gosh,
what's his name?
But the Cedric Wilson's gone, which I really liked as a slot receiver, so he's gone. And like you were saying, strength of schedule. The big thing that goes to me is the Eagles got
better.
AJ Brown, and Jalen Hurts. I think is going to look better and better.
Yeah, Eagles definitely got better. They're a team we probably could have thrown on teams on the rise.
Yeah, they signed James Washington.
Gotcha. Well, it's a question mark. They're really going to go as far as Dak can take them, I think.
Yeah, which that's my whole thing is.
Oh, Jalen Tolbert.
Which what do you get healthy Dak or is he going to get injured? So,
yeah,
I would put them in the question mark category though. But I can kind of see your reasoning there, Nick. But some other teams like that are question marks for the year that are kind of difficult to read. The Saints are a big one. Because what Jameis Winston are they going to get? Are they going to get the 30 for 30 Jameis?
Or
are they going to get the Rookie of the Year Jameis? Like, what are you getting?
Yeah.
If Jameis plays well, then they could be pretty solid.
Yeah.
If Michael Thomas sees the field, they could be pretty solid.
The most hated man.
And your really only competition is Tampa Bay.
Yeah, so they have a fair shot, you know.
Tampa Bay is always going to be good, but they also beat Tampa Bay twice last year.
Yes, they did with Bears backup Trevor Siemian.
Yes.
And their defense isn't terrible. And from what I've heard, and we'll talk about this whole situation later, but Kareem Hunt, they want Kareem Hunt on their team.
Well, yeah, because Kamara's still in jail.
Yes, which
right, he's in jail, right? I'm not making that up.
I think so. I don't know if he's like in jail, but he's at home. Like,
gotcha. He's detained in some form.
But yes, he's having problems with the law.
Legal troubles.
Yes, right. But from what I've heard is he's supposed to be playing week 1. Is what they're first.
Yeah, I mean, he's a game changer if he can play.
Yeah.
But that's another thing that adds to the question mark there, because there's just so much with the team. Like, what's going to happen? You know, how's their O-line going to be? They drafted what's his face, Trevor Penning, or something like that, who's been causing fights like crazy in training camp.
Jeez.
Yeah, he's going to kicked out of 5 straight practices for fighting.
Is that the guy from Northern Iowa?
Yeah, he was everyone was like, what the?
Yeah, because he was getting in fights during like
Yeah, he's a
All-American
scrappy
games.
dude. And I saw some of the things that started fights, and some of them, like, I don't really know if he's the guy who started it. He just wasn't taking crap from whoever was giving him crap.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're in a Power 5 conference, you're getting thrown around by a Northern Iowa guy, you just kind of feel like you get pissed. And it's
Yeah.
like, dude, I'm just better than you. Just get better. And then I feel like that's how the fight starts.
Yeah. Another team that's kind of tough to read is the Steelers as well. Mitch Trubisky apparently has been struggling during the offseason on occasion. He's been very hot and cold. But that's fine. He's adjusting and everything.
Yeah.
But if he's not playing well, and then you have to go to baby hands Kenny Pickett, I don't really know how good a rookie quarterback is going to do.
Yep.
Especially in a not very easy division.
Yeah.
Because the defense on the Browns is still really good. Ravens, honestly, the Ravens are probably the team that would be the easiest win. Quotes around that, because I'm not actually saying they're an easy win. But on paper, they're the easiest team to beat because their defense, I think, is the weakest out of the four in the division.
Yeah.
The only problem I have with that is,
But Lamar's on the other side
Mitch
of
is
the
probably
field.
going to have to score over 17 points, which, as a Bears fan, we really never saw that happen. So.
That's true.
Yeah, but he'll be fine. He'll be fine.
Yeah.
So they're a tough one to read. They have a really great defense.
Locked up TJ Watt.
Locked up TJ Watt. I mean, they got weapons. If they can just
Yeah,
if
Pat
the court-
Fryermuth.
if the quarterback play is there, then they could be a pretty solid team. It just is because of the huge question mark at QB. I don't really know.
Yeah.
What are the expectations for the year? That's
7 wins.
I feel like that would be a disappointing year.
Yeah.
7 wins.
Really? I don't know.
I don't. That's the thing. Like, what's the we're not in Pittsburgh. We got to talk to our buddy Jake on what his season expectations are.
I mean,
he's a Super Bowl or bust guy
Yeah,
every
he
year,
is.
no matter what.
Yeah.
To me, it really comes down to what ends up happening in Cleveland and who's going to be their quarterback and for how long their quarterback's going to be out and stuff like that.
That's true.
Because then it's based on, should we be the last place team? Should we be third, fighting for maybe a second spot if we have a really good year? I don't know.
Yeah.
I think 8-9 between 7 and 10 and 9 and 8 is where I'm expecting them to fall.
I would say 10 wins is successful.
Yeah, 10 wins is a good
is a
year.
win
for
of
them,
the
I
year.
think.
7 is probably where I'm going to put them.
Yeah, which is right at that question mark range, because this is essentially like, could be a 500 team, could be worse, could be better.
Yeah.
That's exactly what this is. So we're meeting in the middle there. Other teams we kind of touched on a little bit. The Cardinals, I said they're going to be bad.
Yep.
Just because I'm
D-Hop's out for 6 weeks.
D-Hop's out for 6 weeks. So Kyler struggles without him, but now he's got Malcolm Brown, which I forgot about
Hollywood
that
Brown?
earlier. Marquise Brown.
Marquise Brown.
Why do I keep saying Malcolm?
I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know why
Malcolm
my mind
Butler,
keeps. I don't know why my mind keeps going to Malcolm. Yeah, Hollywood Brown.
They still got Zach Ertz, right?
Yeah, they have Zach.
Yeah,
Ertz, but
James
he's-
Conner and
James
Chase
Conner.
Edmonds.
Yeah.
Defense is decent. It just is. How are they going to do in the 6 weeks that they don't have DeAndre Hopkins? That's more so.
Yep.
If Hollywood Brown and Kyler Murray pop off, great. They pop off,
Yeah.
then they're going to be good. The thing is, you don't know if that's going to happen, though. I just have a lot of questions about the team in general. They're hard to read because they had a big collapse at the end of 2020, and then last year they also had a fall from grace towards the end of the year again. So
Yep.
it's one of those things. What are you getting? You know what I mean? What is the story for the Cardinals? It's hard to read.
They scared me when they lost to the Packers when Aaron Rodgers was thrown to people that no one knew the names of.
Guys
And
who
that's-
were
after
guys
they
who were
lost
just
that
kind of there
game,
for a pickup game and like, hey, we need wide receivers.
I called it that they were going to lose that game in Bobby's bets, and then I said they're not as good as we think they are.
Yeah, and that was
both of you guys were like, nah.
Yeah,
And
no,
I was
you
like,
got. I'll give you credit on that one, Nick. I'll give you
So,
credit.
If
on
you're
that one.
losing to the Packers, a weakened Packers team, you're not going to beat the Rams. You're not going to beat teams
And
like
they
the Chargers,
didn't.
the
Exactly.
Bengals, and stuff
No.
like that. So,
Yeah.
those are
Speak-
teams you're playing twice a year. So.
Yeah, and speaking of the Packers, that's another question mark team, and this is a soft question mark because at the end of the day, it's still Aaron Rodgers, but we don't know the impact losing Nathaniel Hackett, Luke Getsy, Devontae Adams, the big one, Devontae Adams.
Preston Smith.
A lot of personnel left
Yes.
on the offensive side of the ball, and they've also lost some defensive talent as well.
Yeah.
So it's going to be, to me, it's more so like how much will Aaron Rodgers overcome this by?
Yeah.
Because he's very good at overcoming. Like the odds and everything. So I still expect them to be good. They're probably still going to be in the rate. Will probably still win the division, but they may not be as dominant in the past couple years. So
I'll throw X Factor.
I just put them in a question mark because we don't really know how the impact of all these departures are gonna.
As Bears fans, we hope that it's.
I hope it's terrible.
terrible.
I hope they're absolutely awful. But
unless
I know
Roquan Smith gets traded, then
see my heart believes it, but I know it won't happen.
Yep.
I'm
So-
saying X Factor for me though is AJ Dillon. I think he might change how they end up playing because now without Devontae Adams, you're going to need a guy that can rely on catching the ball, and Aaron Jones is going to be running back, so you're going to need someone. And I think AJ Dillon's pretty stud. I think he would be starting on a few teams if he was not on the Packers.
Yeah.
But so it's going to come down to if he can.
Dude's an animal,
Yeah.
plain and simple.
Yeah.
So, then finally the Ravens. We've talked about them.
Losing Hollywood Brown.
Theoretically, would be the weakest team
Yeah.
in the AFC North. Losing Hollywood Brown's a big blow to their offense that was already weak at the receiver front. They have what's his name, Rondale Moore.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, if he can take the next step in development, that can help a lot. But
Yeah, you got Rashad
J.K.
Bateman.
Dobbins.
Oh yeah, Rashad Bateman. Now, Moore is.
Why did I? Thank you.
More is on the Cardinals.
Cardinals.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
Rondale Moore on the Cardinals. Yes, okay.
Yeah.
Rashad Bateman. Dude, I can't keep up with all
those two.
these
I
names,
flip flop
man.
all the time.
I
don't
can't
know
keep
why.
up with these
I was
names.
like, I didn't know that was a trade. I was like, I thought.
You're like,
No, I
thought
knew
Hollywood
because
Brown was
Rashad
pretty-
Bateman was the Minnesota guy.
Yes.
yeah,
Who I wanted the Bears to draft, but then they got Justin Fields, so I'm not complaining.
yeah.
But
not
my point, I know who I was talking about, people. All right, bear with me.
Yeah,
Anyways,
J.K. Dobbins.
J.K.
Rashad
Dobbins comes
Bateman,
back.
Mark Andrews.
Mark Andrews took a huge leap, like a
Yeah.
huge step.
was amazing
Um,
last year.
He's probably going to be the number one target for Lamar Jackson, if I had to guess. It could be, I mean, they could have a very good year. They can have a down year. I think they'll still have a good year, but compared to their 14-2 season, it might be not as great.
And
For me, it's
now
defense.
it's a tougher division.
Yeah.
Their defense is weaker, so like they can't beat. I think in that 14-2 season, Lamar just had to get them, a certain amount of points, or he would just step off and they'd be up 3 scores.
And they also, the division, like Bobby mentioned, the rest of the division got better.
Yes, except for the Steelers. I think the Steelers got worse since that season, but
Well, the Steelers, we are a question mark here for a reason, but their defense is the side of the ball that Lamar has to beat is still
Yeah,
incredible.
it's
Like
gonna
that's
be
the
really
thing,
good.
that could end up being a low scoring game. But as much as I hate to say it, Browns got better.
Yes,
I hope they suck ass.
I
I really
hope.
do.
I really hope they do
Bengals.
too, man.
Bengals just absolutely gave it to the Ravens both times last year.
Yep.
The Ravens are going to have this is going to be a very up and down season, I think,
Yeah.
for them.
Yep. It's gonna be a
But
long,
yeah.
hard fight.
Last couple things to touch up on, though, aside from the teams and whatnot. I mentioned Deshaun Watson. I guess give some kind of update on
Yep.
it.
6
games, what a joke. Absolute joke. We talked about it last week on the show. But the NFL has already appealed it. They're pursuing a minimum of 1 year, indefinite with a minimum of 1 year and a heavy fine. They're being sued by the NFLPA because the NFLPA has to.
yeah.
So we're gonna see a lot of dirt come up about the league. And it will be fun to see to an extent.
It will be, but I agree with it. I 100% agree.
No,
with
I
this. Like,
agree.
indefinite
I'm all in on the.
suspension
I'm all in on the
I
decision
feel-
to appeal it.
is deservedly so.
Yeah,
And-
like you need to go after this because the NFL has completely mishandled so many different like punishments, right, for breaking rules and whatnot and going against conduct and whatnot. They need to get this one right, and they
Yep.
need to really hammer home like this is unacceptable.
Yep.
So I'm on the side of the NFL on this one, which normally I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm almost never on the side of the NFL, but in this case I am, because at the end of the day, with the whole Deshaun situation, at best his intentions were something gross, at worst completely like reprehensible
Yeah,
or
serial
irreparable.
predator.
Like his best case scenario is the dude is a perv, like that is just a pervy dude who misread a situation, which is still disgusting.
Yeah.
So worst case scenario, like we said, serial predator. Still not good.
Yeah.
Still not good at all. So the NFL's got to hammer home on this one. We already talked about Roquan Smith requesting a trade.
Yep.
Pisses me off. And then, Nick, you actually mentioned this is something we didn't talk about. We kind of brushed right over it. Kareem Hunt requested a trade, and the Browns denied it. They say they're not trading him.
Which my thing is, he's been with Nick Chubb. He's been in other offenses where he's been like not the go-to guy, but like we're going to split some time. So to me, it almost seems like this is like a requesting trade. Like I don't want to play with Deshaun Watson. I don't know if that's true. I'm reading into it too much, but it's just like
I think it is like he's in a contract here and they're not negotiating an extension that he wants or anything like that. So I think he just
I think he wants to go be the main piece in a contract year. That was my initial thought at first, but then I saw some more stuff like negotiations aren't working out. And at the same time, if I'm Kareem Hunt, I wouldn't want to split the ball anymore.
Yeah, it's like
let him go and earn his what will probably be his only big contract of his career. But the way to do it is he's got to go be the number one option somewhere. And I think a lot of teams are smart enough to see the talent that Kareem Hunt has. So if it doesn't happen, I still am willing to bet he gets a lot of money because everyone knows Kareem Hunt's very talented.
Yeah.
I think it was the Saints, Dolphins, and Cowboys. No, not Cowboys. There's a third team that were going.
If the Dolphins got him, that would be huge.
That were showing a lot of interest, and I was
he would
like,
thrive in that system.
Yeah,
and that's where like the Saints. I'm like, okay, so say
if
now Kamara's in jail or whatever, but say he only suspended a couple games, you're still splitting that up.
Yeah,
and you're too much similar of the same guy. Where it's like, if he went to Miami,
if he goes to Miami,
then me saying that they're winning the division is not that crazy.
Yeah, he would be clear cut number one.
Yeah, that would be.
Back. Yeah,
Bobby's not saying they're winning the division, by the way.
I'm not.
You tried to sneak that in there. I saw that.
Well, all of a sudden he said clear cut. Like I was like, what? What are you saying?
No, I'm saying clear cut. He would be the number one running back, but no, they are not. Honestly, Bills 100%. They're winning the division.
Yeah, it's Bills division. But anyways, I think Miami would be that would be like you talk about a great offense there.
Like
that would be it right there. Gesicki, Waddle, Hill, and then Hunt. Dude, like come on. We can quarterback that offense.
Yeah, like you.
Even if they don't throw deep, they can run slants, and if I can hit the open slant, they're gonna bust it for 60 yards.
Exactly,
they're so fast. It's crazy.
It's just.
And then you got 6'6".
I like that fit. That would be a very good fit. But those are our last little touch ups.
Yeah. Mekhi Becton fractures kneecap, out for the year. Bad loss for the Jets.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
Kneecap, dude, that hurt.
What position does he play?
Left tackle.
That's tough, dude. Kneecap.
I was gonna say I thought he was on the O line.
Dude,
kneecap stings, man. That's tough.
He's like 6'7", like
you might never fully come back from that injury.
Yeah,
to me, anything
because
like
of like the bone that broke.
To like that, where it's like a bone of the leg and not just like an ACL or MCL. I feel like you're almost scared to go play the same sport. Like,
it's tough.
I sprained my ankle like landing weird after a layup, and it's just like after you come back, the first couple times you play, you don't.
Oh yeah, that's the
same
thing
way.
with
So
injuries.
like,
you're now always scared that it'll happen.
Fracturing your kneecap has to hurt.
Fracturing a kneecap, like that's because that's where it is. Like, here's my anatomy lesson for you guys here. There's you can't really cast it, right? Because you have to. I don't know how bad the fracture is. If it's like fully split, they probably got to screw something in there, but like. That's a tough one to come back from because that bone will be at risk of, with how weird that joint is. The knee's such an effed up joint. That's not an easy recovery.
No.
And it sure as hell is painful.
And
it can lead to more, like you can have weakened ligaments now. You can be at greater risk of injury at your your different, your CLs. Not good at all.
The only good thing, at least, is he's not cutting around a lot, but he is getting a lot of weight thrown on him consistently.
Yep.
That's a tough injury and not a freak one, but a weird and uncommon one.
Yeah, that very
fractured kneecap. I hope it's not a bad fracture for his sake. But otherwise, that will kind of lead us to Nick's question of the week.
Yeah, we kind of talked about top 10 quarterbacks, so I kind of want to go back to that.
Sure.
Similarly. So I'm going to limit this question to just current players.
Sure.
But I'll do a competition between you and Bobby again. You're building your perfect quarterback. Yeah. Athleticism, IQ, and arm strength. So you're just
What
picking,
about accuracy?
Yeah, we'll say accuracy. Okay, so accuracy, arm strength, football IQ, and then athleticism or agility. So
Okay.
you can build your perfect quarterback.
So
from
who gets to
current
go
players.
first?
Yeah. Who?
Are we gonna do another number 1 through 10?
Sure.
Okay.
I have my number over here.
I'll
2. Was 2?
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, yeah.
All right, I'm taking athleticism first. Give me. Ooh, man, there's so many ways I can go with athleticism there. Give me Lamar Jackson's athleticism.
Oh, Lamar
So
Jackson.
Lamar's off the board now.
Give me Josh Allen's arm strength.
Okay.
So Josh Allen's off the board now.
Correct.
I want Aaron Rodgers' IQ.
I'm gonna take Tom Brady's IQ.
I was gonna say I figured those were gonna be 2 IQ guys.
So I still have I have accuracy and arm strength. left,
Accuracy
right?
and arm strength. Correct.
Okay, I will go with. I guess I'll go Mahomes' arm strength.
That's pretty solid.
Ooh, all right. So I got accuracy and athleticism. Damn,
The accuracy one's tough.
that's really tough.
There's 3 guys that I have that I would put for there if I got to that question.
I'm gonna have to go Joe Burrow.
Okay, that was
For-
gonna be. Yeah, what are you going for?
Accuracy.
Okay, so I still have all I have left is accuracy, right?
Yeah. You did not take one of the 3 guys I had. for accuracy.
Okay, all right.
I'm not gonna say now. I'm
Yeah,
not,
no,
I'm not
we'll
gonna
wait
give
till-
Andrew this.
Yeah, we'll wait till
amazing-
after.
I'll go Matt Stafford accuracy.
Dude, I was thinking about him. Honestly,
He was one of my 3.
I'm going Matt Stafford.
All
Who were
right.
your other 3? Since Bobby already chose his.
I had Stafford. I had Russell Wilson. So I feel like Russell Wilson's super accurate.
He's pretty accurate.
Yeah.
And then I had I just had to say Dak. I feel like Dak's super accurate.
See, I was debating Kirk because Kirk Cousins is pretty accurate too.
He was on my
But
fourth one where
I
was
just
like,
Matt Stafford feels that
Yeah, it
feels
does.
right.
It does.
So
But
you just have athleticism left.
yeah, athleticism. Give me Justin Fields athleticism.
okay.
Okay, not bad.
I like that.
Whose quarterback do you think's better?
I think I have to go with Bobby.
What?
Just because
How?
okay, so Josh Allen has better arm strength to me, I think, than Mahomes. In my opinion.
I agree with that.
Yes, they're very close.
For
Very
me,
close,
IQ wise, I think Rodgers has better IQ, but Brady in a clutch situation in like a playoff game, he's the best. He's the GOAT of that.
Should
So it's like,
whatever, man.
I'm going to take that.
Whatever.
Athleticism, of course, Lamar Jackson is more athletic than Justin Fields, but
Mhm.
Justin Fields still very.
So then
athletic.
accuracy comes on
to Joe Burrow versus
Matt Stafford. And Matt Stafford was in one of your 3 and Burrow. What is this? This is collusion. You guys are colluding.
dude, I just
Like,
picked
you guys
a good
are playing-
quarterback
What are you
right
doing
there.
on this couch over here?
Those
Playing footsie
two-
under that table?
No,
those 2 are pretty similar for
No, I don't-
athleticism
I get
and
you.
accuracy,
I don't-
but the
I'm just-
IQ and arm strength were
I'm just being an idiot. But
to me, I
believe in my quarterback.
I almost was gonna do all time, so I was starting to think of these for mine.
Oh my god, that would have been so.
We would've been here
Michael
forever.
Vick was my athleticism. I had John Elway for arm strength.
I would have still. I mean, I still would
I
have
would go
taken
Joe
in
Montana
in Bobby's
for
game. I still would have
accuracy.
gone Josh Allen.
Yeah,
for
I
arm
think I
strength.
would. I think Josh Allen.
Yeah, I
just
guess
has
I
it.
guess Josh Allen would go arm strength.
Josh Allen. I really think Josh Allen might be one of the strongest armed quarterbacks of all time.
Joe Montana was my accuracy guy because
That's a good one.
That's not a bad one.
I've seen a lot.
But
You could have went like Dan Marino too.
there's so many ways. Yeah,
Yeah,
Marino's IQ.
but once you
actually.
get to,
Oh,
once
yeah.
you get to IQ, some of those older quarterbacks,
Marino,
I feel like Marino,
he dismantled the '85 Bears defense.
Peyton
Yeah,
Manning's
true.
Picked it
IQ,
apart.
I think was so high.
Yeah,
And
Peyton
yeah.
Manning was another
Accuracy
one.
too.
It gets even more.
But
just
for some
the,
of those
the layers to that scenario with
Yeah.
all time we'd be here forever. But that seems like a good place to wrap it up here this week, guys. As always, we appreciate you listening in. So if you like what you heard, please show us some support, show us some love on our social medias. All of that is in our website, GarageTalkSports.com, which coincidentally is also the name of all of our social medias, Garage Talk Sports. So really easy to find. As always, guys, we appreciate you tuning in with us, and we're looking forward to talking to you next week.
See ya.
See ya.